You don't realize how fast time moves until you wake up one day and wonder where it all went. You remember being 17, thinking you had forever. You remember the dreams you whispered to yourself when nobody was watching, the visions you swore you'd chase, the fire that used to burn in your chest every time you thought about becoming more than what they expected. And then life hit. The system caught you. The opinions drowned you. The routines seduced you. You got comfortable, distracted, numb. You started bargaining with your potential. You started telling yourself, it's not the right time, I'll do it later. But later doesn't come. Later is a lie. Because every second you wait is a second you never get back. The system was never built for you to win. From the moment you're born, you're handed a script written by people who don't know you, don't care about your vision, and only want one thing: compliance. They don't tell you to question. They don't tell you to break patterns. They don't tell you to dominate. They hand you a desk, a uniform, and a grading scale, and they tell you to stay within the lines. The system is structured so that from your earliest memories, you associate value with approval, not results. You sit in a classroom where you're judged by your ability to memorize, not to think, where you're rewarded for silence, obedience, and repetition, not for hunger, risk, and innovation. The system was never built for you to win. They teach you that failure is bad, that mistakes should be avoided, that risk should be minimized. But every real winner in life, every creator, entrepreneur, athlete, leader, built their kingdom on failure, on betting, on themselves when everything looked uncertain. And the system doesn't show you that, because if it did, it would lose control. It would lose its grip on people who depend on it to feel secure. You were trained to become replaceable, to fit into a role, clock in, clock out, and never ask why. The entire education system was designed during the industrial era to pump out factory workers, people who could follow directions and not complain. And although the factories changed, the mindset didn't. You're still being taught how to be manageable, how to color within someone else's blueprint. You're not being trained to build your own. They tell you to chase degrees, chase credentials, chase safe jobs, but nobody tells you to chase freedom. Nobody tells you that you can reject all of it, go the other way, and create something that no one can take from you. They don't want you to think like that, because once you start thinking like that, you become unmanageable. You stop playing by their rules. You stop showing up when they say. You stop being a gear in their machine. They tell you to save money while printing more of it behind closed doors. They tell you to take out loans for a university that doesn't teach you how to make money, but how to stay in debt for 20 years. They sell you security and deliver slavery. You think getting that job is stability, but it's just a longer leash, one that tightens every time you try to break free. And when you try to speak up, they tell you you're being ungrateful. They call you arrogant, reckless, unrealistic, because the system is scared of men who realize their worth. It's scared of men who stop asking for permission, who stop waiting for opportunity and start creating it. It's scared of those who step away from the crowd and say, I don't want to live like this. I'm not here to blend in. So they condition you early to avoid risk, to crave comfort, to fear standing out. And the ones who rebel, they get labeled as troublemakers, dropouts, misfits, until they become CEOs, leaders, game changers, and suddenly everyone acts like they always believed in them. The worst part is this programming runs deep. You don't even realize it's happening. You think you're making your own choices, but you're not. You're just selecting from options they gave you. And they made sure all the options benefit them. They tell you to follow your passion while never teaching you how to monetize it. They praise the idea of self-expression, but mock anyone who actually builds something off the grid. If the system really wanted you to win, they teach you how to control your emotions, how to build skills that compound, how to make money work for you, not the other way around. But they don't. They want you emotionally unstable, financially dependent, and intellectually neutered. They want you scrolling, consuming, addicted, numb, because numb people don't rebel. Numb people don't question the blueprint. Numb people go to work. complain on the weekend, and wait for retirement like it's salvation. You're trained to follow authority instead of becoming one, to accept average as normal, to believe success is reserved for the lucky ones or the chosen few. But the truth is, success is a byproduct of self-responsibility, not conformity. The world's most powerful people didn't follow the system. They saw through it, they saw the lie, and decided to write their own script. That option is still on the table, but most will never take it because they're too scared to burn the old one. The system wants you pacified, distracted, addicted to cheap dopamine and shallow rewards, so they feed you entertainment instead of purpose, outrage instead of clarity, comfort instead of power. And while you're laughing at memes and arguing online, someone else is buying back their time, building assets, learning how to multiply their income while you're trying to survive off a paycheck. You have to unlearn everything they taught you if you want to win. You have to question what you were told was normal. You have to separate what is common from what is correct. Because if you follow the herd, you'll end up where most people do. Bitter, broke, resentful, and confused why nothing worked out. The truth is, it was never supposed to. The game was rigged from the start. Pain is your most honest teacher. Most people run from pain. They numb it, avoid it, blame others for it. But pain doesn't lie. Pain tells you exactly where you're weak, exactly where you've been slacking, exactly where you need to grow. It strips away the ego and reveals the truth. When everything's comfortable, you can fake it. You can convince yourself you're doing enough. But when pain shows up, physical, emotional, mental, it exposes you. Pain reveals your limits. And if you're smart, you'll use it. Because every time life breaks you, it's offering a chance to rebuild stronger. But most people don't rebuild. They crumble. They sulk. They feel sorry for themselves and wait for things to get better. They miss the fact that pain isn't punishment, it's instruction. It's not there to stop you. It's there to prepare you. Think about every defining moment in your life. Every breakthrough, every lesson that actually stuck. It came from pain, it came from the breakup, the loss, the failure, the betrayal, the rock bottom. That's where you learned. That's where you changed. Not in the easy seasons, not when everything was working. Growth doesn't happen when you're cruising. It happens when you're bleeding. The problem is, people want the reward without the suffering. They want the wisdom without the scars, but it doesn't work like that. If you want to be mentally strong, emotionally resilient, physically dominant, you need to suffer. You need to feel the pressure. You need to lose. You need to get humbled. Because the version of you who can handle success is not the version of you sitting comfortably right now. That version needs to be forged, and the fire that forges it is pain. Pain teaches you self-awareness. You start to see your patterns. You notice your emotional reactions. You see how much of your life has been driven by insecurity, fear, and avoidance. And once you see it, you can fix it. You can face it. You can finally move with intention instead of survival. Most people stay in the same cycles for years because they never let pain finish its work. They distract themselves before the lesson lands. They numb it with food, alcohol, scrolling, shallow relationships. They escape instead of evolve. And so the pain keeps returning, louder, deeper, until it finally breaks them completely or wakes them up. If you start seeing pain as feedback, everything changes. You stop being the victim and become the observer. You start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Instead of, why is this happening to me? And that shift is where your power comes back. Because now pain is no longer something to avoid, it's something you can use. You realize that suffering with purpose builds strength. Struggle with awareness creates wisdom. And scars are proof that you didn't quit. Pain forces you into action. No one changes when they're comfortable. No one builds greatness from the couch. You need the discomfort, the late nights, the frustration, the heartbreak. That's the fire. That's what builds men. The ones who avoid it stay soft. The ones who face it become untouchable. Pain is life's filter. It separates the curious from the committed, the talkers from the doers, the dreamers from the builders. You can read all the books, listen to all the podcasts, watch all the motivational reels, but until you walk through real pain and keep going, you haven't earned your stripes. The most dangerous version of a man is the one who's been through hell and chose to walk out of it sharper. Not bitter, not broken, sharper. You can't buy that kind of strength. You can't fake that kind of presence. You earn it through pain. And the deeper the pain, the deeper the power, if you stay conscious through it. Discipline outlasts motivation. Motivation is an illusion. It comes in waves, often after watching a flashy video, hearing a powerful quote, or when the stars just happen to align for a moment. But like a sugar high, it fades fast. And when it fades, so do your promises. The promises you made when you were pumped, when everything seemed possible, when life felt like it was finally going to change. But nothing changes. Not really, because you never built the system. You just caught a feeling, and feelings don't build empires. Discipline does. Discipline is boring. It's quiet. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It doesn't care if it's raining, if you're tired, if you just had a bad day. It shows up every single time. And that's what makes it powerful. Because while everyone else is stopping when they don't feel like it, discipline keeps you in the game. That's why it's the separator, the filter, the thing that divides the ones who kind of want it from the ones who refuse to live without it. Discipline is the decision to train when your body aches, to study when your mind is foggy, to work on your craft when no one is clapping. It's a quiet contract you make with yourself and break the moment you rely on motivation. The gym is empty in the winter. The early hours are silent. The grind doesn't get posted because it's not glamorous. But this is where killers are made. Not when it's fun, not when it's easy, but when it's hard, and you still do it anyway. Most people wait to feel inspired before taking action. That's weakness disguised as self-awareness. The truth is, you act first and let the feeling follow. You don't wait to feel motivated to train. You train, and through that process, motivation might show up. But even if it doesn't, you still win. Because you moved. Because you honored the process. Because you acted like the man you said you wanted to become. Discipline is what builds identity. Every time you show up when it's hard, you cast a vote for the man who gets it done. Not the man who tries. Not the man who explains why he didn't. The man who executes. That's how confidence is built. Through action, not affirmations. You don't become confident by thinking about success. You become confident by stacking proof that you do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. Everyone talks about wanting to be elite, wanting to reach the top 1%, but nobody wants to suffer through the routine. They want to feel good while building a kingdom. That doesn't exist. You don't get to look like a machine while living like a civilian. You don't get to lead the pack while training like a follower. The top is built on discipline, stacked daily, brick by brick, while the rest of the world sleeps, scrolls, and searches for motivation. And now you know that the system won't save you, that pain is your teacher, that discipline is the only way forward. You know that no one's coming to fix your life. You know that if you don't build your dream, you'll spend your life building someone else's. You know that your environment is shaping your destiny, that regret is far heavier than failure, and that time is your only true currency. So what are you going to do with all of this? Are you going to close this and scroll again? Let the truth hit you for a second, then go back to pretending like you've got forever? Or are you going to do something with this pressure, use it, act on it, change something? Because the clock won't pause, the world won't stop. And 5 years from now, you'll either look back and thank yourself or curse yourself. Not because of luck, but because of the choice you made today, right now, to either become the man you were meant to be or remain the one you settled for.